Today, we're talking about the CIA influence operations in China. Hi everyone, this is Lao Wan reporting for华尔街前线. During 2016, Americans began to pay a lot of attention to the fact that foreign actors, mainly Russian, were trying to influence the outcome of the election. Russian bots and troll farms took to social media to promote and support the Trump campaign against Hillary Clinton. Thousands of fake social media accounts spread disinformation and organized and promoted pro-Trump events, with estimates that they reached millions of American social media users between 2013 and 2017. At the height of the presidential campaign, Russian hackers also accessed the Democratic National Committee's information system and leaked thousands of emails and documents. Now, what if I told you that in 2019, President Trump ordered the CIA to launch a similar campaign in China? To give credit where it's due, this video will largely be a summary of a Reuters article written by Joel Schechtman, Christopher Bing, and Liz Lee, published early this morning. In this report from Reuters, which verified this story with 3 different former officials, Trump initiated a CIA campaign where operatives used fake accounts and identities to spread negative narratives about Chinese President Xi Jinping's government, and also to strategically leak classified documents to overseas news outlets. The campaign spread narratives that high-level officials in the Chinese Communist Party were secretly, quote, hiding ill-gotten money overseas, end quote, and also implied that China's massive Belt and Road Initiative that provides loans and builds infrastructure in developing countries was a front for massive corruption. When asked by Reuters journalists, American officials insisted that the narratives were based in fact, even though the operation was undercover and being spread by false accounts. They added that the aim was to foment paranoia among China's top leadership. A formal official said, quote, "We wanted them chasing ghosts," end quote, in their pursuit of these accounts on China's internet, much of which remains largely closed to the outside world. The likelihood is also that the operation aimed to ramp up Xi's paranoia and increase the intensity of his anti-corruption purges within the Chinese Communist Party as a means of sowing discord and distrust within high-ranking party leaders. Although Reuters was unable to confirm if the program continues under President Biden after his election in 2020, 2 intelligence historians said to Reuters reporters that, quote, when the White House grants the CIA Covert Action Authority through an order known as a presidential finding, it often remains in place across administrations. Former officials also felt that the more aggressive CIA campaign was warranted in America's increased competition with China for influence in third countries. Locke Johnson, a political scientist at the University of Georgia, said that the tactic of using fake accounts allows America to push a narrative in countries where, quote, censorship might prevent that information from coming to light, or in areas where audiences wouldn't give much credence to U.S. government statements. In many ways, this signifies a return to Cold War-era operations, where the CIA would apparently plant up to 90 articles a day in order to undermine the Soviet Union. There is also room for this influence campaign to backfire. Thomas Rid said to the Reuters reporters, quote, U.S. influence operations also risk endangering dissidents, opposition groups critical of China, and independent journalists, who could be falsely painted as CIA assets. Thomas Rid is a professor at Johns Hopkins University who wrote the book Active Measures: The Secret History of Disinformation and Political Warfare. Once again, that was all a summary of an article written this morning by Joel Schechtman, Christopher Bing, and Liz Lee for Reuters. In my opinion, it's really exceptional journalism. Here's my edition. In 1996, the Senate Intelligence Committee held a hearing on the CIA's use of journalists and clergy in intelligence operations. In the hearing, multiple very famous journalists at the time clearly stated their objections to the CIA using journalism as a cover for CIA agents in their operations. Terry Anderson, an American journalist for the Associated Press that was taken hostage by Hezbollah militants in Lebanon between 1985 and 1991, testified that, quote, journalists, clergy, and Peace Corps people are put in danger of their life by this suspicion. It increases the perception of many that when a journalist appears in a troubled area, there is even a small possibility that he or she is connected to espionage. I think it's dangerous and unnecessary. I think we need an absolute and public blanket ban on the recruiting or use of journalists, clergy, or Peace Corps workers by any intelligence agency of the United States, and also, I might add, on the use of journalistic cover by intelligence agents. Ted Koppel, then anchor of Nightline on ABC News, also testified, quote, I am unalterably and categorically opposed to the notion of the CIA having the legal option of using journalism as a cover for its officers or agents. Although the CIA apparently now avoids using journalists as cover for their agents, the dissemination of leaks to media and the strategic use of fake accounts in influence campaigns remains a controversial practice because many journalists feel that it endangers them. The deliberate instigation of distrust and paranoia also actively makes it more dangerous for dissenters and critics in countries with strict censorship policies, like China. That the CIA is willing to endanger Chinese netizens who are brave enough to critique the state when its own operatives face no risk of capture is perhaps an indictment of the return to Cold War tactics. Given China's near total control over its internet, Chinese citizens' mixed feelings about America, and a total lack of transparency about how most Chinese people actually feel about their leadership, it's unclear how effective the CIA influence campaigns actually will be. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Lao Wan reporting for 华尔街前线. Please like and subscribe.